mixed-racial couple who is Chinese woman with the foreigner husband or foreigner boyfriend, the comment section tend to be really harsh.
Sometimes people ask my son why he is so black. I want him to be proud. I tell him, you're the color of chocolate, while some other children are the color of milk.
2 men stood by in executive position to lift that chair and watch me struggle to carry that chair.
Date some and talk to all of them.
He's probably still going to force it on me. Like, he's just going to Venmo me money.
Wow.
Tell me why that is everyone's immediate thought.
He's asking that question is because they love you.
It was so bad in China. For example, mixed racial couple. If you are a Chinese man with foreigner wife or foreigner girlfriend, your treatment will be so much different compared to a Chinese woman with a foreigner boyfriend or foreigner husband. For example, in many Chinese social media, by my observation, if you are a Chinese man with foreign wife, no matter what color or race your wife is, like if she's black, white, Hispanic, or other non-Chinese Asian, there are really rare any hateful comments. Like the comments are usually really positive and people just cheer for the Chinese man. But if you go to check a mixed racial couple who is Chinese woman with the foreigner husband or foreigner boyfriend, the comment section tend to be really harsh. Like many people will criticize that woman's husband. And a lot of people will criticize that woman as well. And many people think it is racism, but to me, I think it's just misogyny. Because when Chinese men are dating other foreigner women, they do not have the treatment as Chinese men dating the foreigner boyfriend. I don't know if that happened in just China or every other country as well.
Well, I don't know because I'm not in China, so I don't know if it's misogyny. I don't think that's what it is. But that goes hand in hand with the next video I'm going to play for you guys. Because this Chinese woman pretty much has to fight for her Brack man. She fights for her Brack man, and she let it be known. She doesn't care what her parents say. Also, what people say. Her children goes through racism in school, has no problem with it. She actually holds it down. Let's see what you got to say.
Cultural differences and the distance between China and Africa was daunting.
But their love was strong. Kinsley got used to Chinese culture and Wang Chong won over her family and friends. Now they have 2 children, but even that hasn't been easy.
Sometimes people ask my son why he is so black. I want him to be proud. I tell him, you're the color of chocolate, while some other children are the color of milk.
Wow.
Despite Kinsley's success, not every mixed marriage family in Guangzhou is doing so well. For the children, it can be hard, especially if the father doesn't have a stable job and a life in the city. Xinhan runs a counseling center that serves the foreigners and local Chinese. In this community, it's known as Little Africa, and many of the families are mixed.
Generally, China has an open visa policy. And
Man, shout out to the African guys. They're out there in China in flocks. They're in the Philippines in flocks. They're on every continent, every country. They pin it down. Those guys are really the original passport bros. Seriously. They are flooded through Manila, where I am now. And it's more African people in pretty much every country except for America than black people. I got to give them their just due.
anyone who is eligible can apply for permanent residency. Our policy is not country-specific, but based on economic criteria.
Yeah, so she's fighting for this guy, right? You know what I liked about her? She told her children, and the children can relate. They can understand that analogy. You're like chocolate milk. They're like white milk. But she's confident. She's happy. She's proud of her black man. And she said, I don't care what my parents say. My black man. No Shangyu for me. No Shangyu.
I miss you so much, very much.
Look at that warm welcome. Honey. How are you going to feel You walking down the block, honey. The way you said too, honey. Well, hear her talk.
你北京的女朋友，北京的女人是不是很漂亮？北京的女人是不是比我好看？
我真的没遇到过女朋友在北京。
可是你都不给我打电话，
我一直都在想你啊。
你被娶我脱轨了，他是不是被娶我脱轨了？他有没有带你们看其他的 girlfriend？
没有过，你可以问他们，我每天都在。
你只能有 only me，only me，only
you，only
me，
可以，只有你。
好吧。
That's love, man. That girl love him. That girl love him, and I get it. Like, and this is what men are looking for too, because these are African brothers, but men in the West are trying to go to different shores and find ladies. That's for them, and they're leading the way, especially in China. But I know a lot of guys that are coming out to the Philippines that are black, and they're making it happen. And the great thing about coming to places like here, the women want marriage, right? They're fiending to get married. They're not desperate though, but they really want it. They want love. And a lot of guys are coming here and experiencing the same thing. I've showed a lot of them. I've showed a lot of brothers coming out here and finding that same love. And I'm going to tell you, you can do the same as well.
You lose respect for a man faster than to be in the presence of a man and he see me struggling as a woman, or see any woman struggling, and he won't even take his hands out of his pockets or lift his hands to help a lady. Zero respect.
She living back in the day.
Those days are over.
I was just now in a setting struggling to lift an office chair that was really heavy to get it from one place to the next place, and I had to lift it and carry it a short distance. Two men stood by in executive positions and watched me struggle to lift that chair and watched me struggle to carry that chair.
That's not my problem.
Wait a minute. She just said the men were in executive positions. Man. You know why I made a sad voice, right? Because, lady, they're in executive positions. That could have been one of the guys that writes your paycheck. I know it's not right, but still, all in all, you should have contacted maintenance. I'm sure you could have done that. And maintenance would have came, no problem. Instead, what do? Get on Beyonce. You get on TikTok and you complain. Why? They're executive for a reason. They don't get paid to move chairs around. Seriously, like, she's complaining. It's wild because you got to break down everything and break down every situation, because the way when I break it down like that, it gives people clear understanding. Like, yeah, you're right. Like, that's not in their job description. They're not chair movers. They write your paycheck
To where it needed to be to return it to less than, it was a very short distance back to its proper place. Zero respect. I have zero respect for men who will watch a woman struggle. If men will stand by and
they probably
watch
thought
you
she was
struggle,
young too.
Even in lifting a chair, they will stand back and watch you struggle in other areas of your life. When it comes to women, children, and senior citizens, I have a soft place in my heart for those three populations because they are the weakest populations on the face of the earth. To watch a senior citizen, a woman, or a child struggle, and as a man you do nothing, I have zero respect for any man who will watch a woman struggle and do nothing to help her.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you something. We don't care.
It says volumes about your character. Volumes.
No, that's not true. Look at how you worded it too. Nowadays, I know it may not be you, but you have to understand, you have to take the brunt of that as well, right? Because women have said, hear me roar. I'm woman. Hear me roar. I can do it on my own.
I don't need a man.
You moved the chair like that too, didn't you? You should have called maintenance. You could have called somebody. Instead, you decided to move the chair. That is your fault, not any man's fault. And that's not something that should be talked about and complained about on TikTok.
One of the things that comes with being with me is not going to watch me army crawl. That's amazing.
If you're truly struggling and your man is in a position to do something about it and he's watching you struggle, he doesn't genuinely care. If you're telling him these bills are piling up, you don't know how you're going to pay your rent, and he's on some that's tough and that's too bad, as opposed to trying to come up with some kind of plan or offering you some money, you got to cut him loose. If a man is genuinely interested in you and he genuinely cares for you deeply, he's going to try to solve that problem. Men are natural born problem solvers. And when they love a woman, they love her with everything they have, their time, their energy, and their money. He's not going to be comfortable eating steak, shrimp, and lobster and having you boiling ramen for the 10th time in the last couple of weeks. He's not going to do that. He's going to want you to live well and be stress-free, because that he feels all of the emotions that you feel. So if you're stressed, he's stressed. A man who is perfectly at ease and at peace when you are struggling is not a man who genuinely cares for you.
No, you're wrong, right? Because think about it like this. What if a man lives with you and he sees you going out to eat every day? I know, because I've done it. I will go out to eat at work, and then I will go out to eat. I will go to dinner, and then I will go out to eat for food for the house, right? A lot of people live like that in the West. It's not just me. So if a man sees that and she said, she doesn't have money to get by, but you saw her for the entire week waste $200 on food she could have cooked. You saw her buy groceries. You even mentioned it to her, because I would. Why don't you cook something for work? Especially if you're living with her. You're going to regret it later when you don't have any money. Cook something. I'm just going to eat something when I get to work. I'm running late. So if that's happening, you're running late. Cook something the day before. No, I don't want to do that. That's the attitude. And that's the difference, right? That's the difference between a Brack man and a Brack woman. The Chinese woman can say, nobody's talking about Brack man. But a black woman, you got to say, I can't say it's black woman because it's happened to white women too in the U.S. So I take that back. But still, I'm not wrong when I say people are wasteful. And I'm sure she was.
All are not girls. So let me go ahead and tell you right now, you need to block and delete me. The most dangerous time for a woman in life other than childbirth is when they're trying to leave an abusive relationship. And I don't know why you all don't understand that. You're so quick to hop in the comments and say what you would have done, what you should have done, yet and still, you're still with the same person that has cheated on you, has multiple babies. You're still with the same person that is inconsistent. You're still with the same person that used you up. But just because they haven't put their hands on you, you think that you're the moral compass on when to leave. You know what's best for that person. Have you been physically abused, mentally abused, financially abused? If you have not, I want you to shut your mouth. Okay? You have no idea what you're referring to. You're not a girl's girl. I see all the comments from Megan, from Hallie, from Cassie. You all are monsters, and you all are supporting monsters. You are not a girl's girl, and you are not welcome on my page. Bye-bye, honey.
No, she's talking to somebody directly, but I have nothing to say about that. I didn't know what that was about, so I'll leave that alone. But woman, all hear me roar. I'll leave that alone.
Date some and talk to all of them.
One, date some, talk to all of them. Got it. Thank you.
I wonder you stayed single.
Man, that woman right there that's writing the notes had to be like maybe 2 years younger than the other girl. She's writing down notes. You don't know that, but yeah. No, look, that's what they're doing when they're dating. And a lot of guys know that. Because that's why it's dating advice for 2025. Guys, understand that's what's being done. I don't know why she's writing it down, but I'm sure she's known now. Maybe she hasn't. I'm looking at her the way she. I gotta call her, lady. You don't get on TikTok looking like that. Looking like she just took a hit of a piece of some stuff. One, date some. Look. Women been known this advice, and they're doing it, and guys know this advice. So guys are sitting back saying, my hands are tied. They're tied with everything going on with me, everything I'm doing in my life, and you got to respect it. You have to. You ladies always try to flip it and make it like, oh yes, we're the ones that are controlling it. But how are you controlling what's happening in the dating market if no men are talking to you. Maybe you have guys talking to you, and maybe because those guys are the Chads and the Tyrones, maybe you're rejecting them. But the regular guys, the regular men, they're not feeling it because they're the ones not approaching. They're tired of the games, and you ladies still can't get a grasp on it. Some of you know and don't care and feel, oh, I deserve the best man anyway. I'm not saying you don't, but to what cost? You deserve the guy to be all for you that's getting all the girls. You think he wants to change? He doesn't have to change. So a lot of times he won't.
Listen, y'all women be naive and gullible and dumb. Cause why the you gonna go date or be in a relationship with a nigga who don't do for his kids or take care of his responsibilities? I would never in a million years be with a nigga or a female who don't take care of their priorities. Cause baby, not taking care of your kids shows me everything I need to know about your ass. And not taking care of your kids, baby, is a big red flag for me. And some of y'all women need to be ashamed of y'all damn self. Y'all too old for that to be dating or being married to a man or a woman that don't take care of their kids.
Girls can't wait to be with those guys, right? All the guys that are doing it, they're pookied up. They don't care. They have not a care in the world. Because they want these guys. Why? Because their stroke game is good or because they're that guy. They're that guy in the neighborhood. That's all they care about is clout. It's gotten that bad to where clout is number one. A lot of women are waking up, but to who? They still don't have a grasp on who the guys that they have problems with. And what you have to understand, what this lady doesn't realize, she's talking about those same guys. The same guys who are the headaches in the community. I'm sure that's who you're dating. I can tell from the way you sound, the way you talk, you're dating those guys. You may come across the one that does take care of his kid, but that has 5 of them. I guess that's okay.
That I give relationship advice. She asked me if my man lost his job, and he is still without work, for 6+ months or whatever, would I leave him? I said yes. I said, because one thing I know is McDonald's is always hiring. She said, well, no, if he's, searching for another job in his career field, it's just taking a little bit long, or his career field isn't hiring right now, but he is actively searching. Would you leave him? I said, he been searching for a job for 6 months? I said, yeah. Yeah. I said, because let's be real. Although McDonald's may not be the ideal job, and it may not be able to pay all my bills, it can still pay the lights, water, and gas, which is still 3 bills that needs to be paid.
Real talk.
There is no way in that any man of mine will sit on and watch me pay the bills in our household for 6 months straight. There is some kind of money you can't be making. If you truly wanted to help the woman, there is something you could be doing. Come to find out, she was asking me that because that was her scenario. So she was asking me what would I do if I was in her shoes. I said I wouldn't even entertain a man who's even comfortable with watching me pay the bills for 6 months. I said, so seeing as that this is your situation, that's a question you got to ask yourself. Because like I said, whatever career field that and so can a lot of other jobs. It may not provide as much income, but the household is still ran off income. And you need to get out there and go find some, or don't come back to my household. And that's just how I feel. Like I said, I'm only dating men with a 100% mindset. That's it. So would I leave a man after 6 months without working? Honey, I'm gone. I'm out of there.
I bet you are. A man has no shot. Not one shot. See, the best answer, wife material would have said, I'll stay around as long as he's trying. I'm talking about good effort. Make sure he's putting in that good effort. But if a man, you know who you're dating. You got to think about this. The job market right now, I just talked with someone about that. about the job market and who's taking all of the jobs from people in US. You see people, a lot of people getting hired overseas. They're taking all of the minimum wage jobs. So if he's not at that level where he should be getting paid more for his experience, a lot of times they're going to look to hire someone that they're going to outsource. And what do they do when they outsource? I was one of those guys they would hire. I did sales, I did outsource sales for the longest. They would hire a guy like me or hire someone for a less fee. I cost the same as American people, but still, they'll go over and say, "Look, let me try to hire someone in another country that sounds just like an American." Man, I saw this on YouTube. These scammers in DR and scammers in Africa. The ones in Africa sound like they're from UK. The man in DR was a black guy, sounding like a white boy. I said, man. So if they can do that, what do you think they can do on the phones? Take Americans' jobs. And that's what's happening. It's a cold society right now. She doesn't understand it so much. And that's not good. These girls are leaving men. Probably a good man. He's probably really trying. Not getting 100% mindset. You notice she said that? Danger.
Anyone here can explain this to me. I have my own apartment right now. Boyfriend is still living with his parents, but we've been talking about him maybe moving in with me. Every single time I tell someone this, their immediate reaction, he better be paying part of the rent. You're not just gonna pay the whole rent. Why is that the immediate reaction? My boyfriend, when he does have money, he will buy me anything I want. He is not stingy about spending his money on me. Right now, we're at the point where I'm making money where I can pay the whole rent, and he needs to work on his career. And everyone's just saying, like, no, he needs to pay. When he gets paid, sends me girlfriend tax money. He has no problem giving me money. I don't think it makes sense for him to pay right now.
Ooh, I like her.
He's probably still gonna force it on me. Like, he's just gonna Venmo me money.
Wow.
Tell me why that is everyone's immediate thought.
Sure. The reason that everybody's asking that question is because they love you, because they care about you, and they don't want to see you taken advantage of by a person that could potentially be using you for the free labor that you can provide for him.
You can't make this.
The free housing that you can provide for him, and the bills that you can cover for him. Seen one too many times situations of men who move in with women who are able to pay for their own bills, who are able to pay for their own rent, who are able to look after themselves and take clear advantage of that. And before they know it, the women who were paying for all their bills, paying for all their rent because they could, end up taking on not only every single one of the financial responsibilities in the house, but every single one of the logistical responsibilities in the house. Cooking, the cleaning, the laundry. Every single thing falls on them. You may have one of those good guys who are ready to pitch in, but even the fact that he's living in his parents' house does tend to send off alarm bells and warnings. What is he like? Is he a man-child? Is he somebody whose mum chases after him, cleaning up after him? Or is he somebody who actually contributes to his parents' house? These are questions that you need to know. The fact that you're able to afford rent does not preclude him from doing what he's supposed to do, both as a man and a human being walking on this earth. Girlfriend tax, he gives you money, he's not stingy, he's generous whenever you ask for something. What if you don't ask? And this is all on his terms at this point. When you ask for something, he'll give it to you. When he wants to give it to you, he'll give it to you. And not setting clear boundaries as to how this is expected to work when you live together, you're actually missing an opportunity and you could be shooting yourself in the foot. Because then you kind of leave it wide open for him to decide to contribute whenever he wants to. And sure, that's worked up until now because you don't live together. You're not taking on the entirety of his living expenses. You'll find those little things that he does for you, those girlfriend taxes, that little $20, $50, however much he throws you on an occasional basis, doesn't really stack up much when you're looking at a whole month's worth of expenses. This whole idea that it makes sense to you for him to focus on his career, for why? For what? Are you married? Engaged at least? No, he's your boyfriend. So why are you shouldering the expenses whilst he focuses on his career? To what end? Marriage is no guarantee. At least that's a bit more of a guarantee than just being an ordinary girlfriend. I don't know how long you've been together. I don't know what he's like. I don't know anything outside of the information that you provided in your post. If my girlfriend came to me with such a proposal, my first question is, what is he paying for? What is he expecting to do? Where is he living now? And why is it that he has not even broached the subject of how much he's going to pay for you? Talking about moving in together means you planned this. So what are his plans? What are his intentions going forward? I've seen so many posted up where these men talk about women who are not there forever. They're just a stopgap. They're just somewhere for them to sleep. They're hobosexuals. So I'm not saying that's the case here. We don't know this. People in your life whose first response is, what is he going to pay? Hang on to those people. They love you and they're speaking sense.
Yeah, and this is an issue. I'll tell you why. The way she is, my wife was just like her. And this is a woman, the white woman, that guys need, right? My wife was willing to take on things. By being like that, she proved to me she was ready to be a wife. I was ready to be a husband. And when I got with her, I wanted to show her I was ready to be a husband. Yes, I proved to her the same. Why? Reciprocation. And from the way she's talking, she said her man does the same thing. Doesn't matter how you feel. Only thing that matters is how she feels and he feels, because they're together. It's her fault. You know what she did wrong? She got on the internet and started asking questions. She got on TikTok and started asking questions. That's what she did wrong. And who knows? She may listen, and then something may happen. The guy could be a good dude for real. Because she listened to people like you, she could lose a marriage. But yeah, guys, that's the way it is. And it's the white girl's fault. She shouldn't have got on the internet and asked anything. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Peace out. See you next video.